And so let's bring on more non-essential businesses. Sorry, I hate to throw around the N word like that, guys, and I hope you don't take it personally, but just
Oh
we're
man.
essential, okay? But somehow in this crazy world, you guys are labeled non-essential, yet we're allowing more businesses to open, which in turn means more people have to go to work, which in turn means more people are needing childcare. It's kind of funny how that works. I mean, I see it. I don't know why our government leaders don't see it. Who the hell they think is going to watch these kids when you open these businesses for people to go to work? Nino and Nina cannot watch them because you told us same household.
Ah, man,
And
that's hilarious, bro.
it is
You are
not
the
supposed to
man.
be hilarious though, but you know,
Yeah, man, these times just kind of gotta laugh.
laughter is
I
the
don't
best
even.
medicine. It's right up there
It
with
is.
working out at the gym. Right
Hey,
up
there
there.
you go. There you go.
So we got from Adventures in Learning in Jotnia. We have Dewey Huffer. He's on the your left of the Zoom screen, and we have Mr. Joe Soriano of Nenny Child Care. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Half a day, everybody. Half a day, Sabrina, Chris. Thank you guys for having us on. We really appreciate this opportunity to share with the community the struggles, and hopefully we can have a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel after this meeting. But yeah, what questions do you guys have for us, and we'll go from there.
Well, first of all, how are you surviving? I guess is the first question. Are you surviving?
Um, Barely, barely. Right now, we're very fortunate that the Block Grant Division of Public Health, Elsa, Terry, and their team have really been able to kind of compensate us a little bit during this hard time. They've been working hard on the CARES Act grant. So most centers were able to submit that grant, and now we're hoping that we can get some assistance from that as well. Of course, it's not the assistance that we would hope and dream of. It's going to be a little bit every month, but that should help us at least stay open. Maintain the cost of rent, power, main essential bills that we need to operate. Less, of course, payroll. Now, payroll is the biggest cost. Um, the main thing that we're having an issue with is the essential and non-essential. We, of course, like everybody else, we believe we're essential, and that comes from the idea that the parents are the ones who need us, and if there are essential workers, as you were mentioning earlier, um, that the tattoo artists and everybody else, but the police officers, the firemen, all of these critical people that for our community need our services, and right now they're resorting to their family, friends. They've got older siblings babysitting younger siblings, so we get a lot of calls from parents that need us. So by relationship, I think we are very essential in that. um, this essential workers need us in order to go to work, as you mentioned. One thing I do want to point out is that a lot of the centers worldwide have never shut down during any of lockdowns throughout the world. They were able to maintain operations for those essential personnel, and that was something we were never given the opportunity to do, and that's why we were fighting so long and hard a few months ago, and we were able to get that opened. We were only able to open for a few weeks. Um, but the struggle is very difficult. If we are going to have to operate at 25 or 50%, we will have to close. Um, and that's the reality. The thing to take away from this is that we are no longer daycares. A lot of people believe, hey, I need a babysitter, and that's why I go to work. I send my kid to daycare, and we have not been daycares for a very long time. For the past 15 years, we've been upgrading. We go through extenuous training, and educating these children. The thing to realize that the public needs to understand is that from 0 to 5 years of age, the brain is developing exponentially higher than any other group of people in the world. So you think of that, right? I mean, you try to learn a language, if you want a child to learn a language or a person to learn a language, 0 to 5 is when they're going to learn that language easiest, and waiting till they're older is going to have less of an effect. Does that make sense? You guys kind of understand that?
Of course. Let's bring it over to Mr. Soriano, and we'll shoot it back over to you, Dewey. But in the few weeks you were able to open, Mr. Soriano, what were your customers saying to you when they came in and they were able to drop those kids for that small period during PCOR 3?
And that was
You're
also
asking
on a
me?
limited,
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
was also
yeah.
on a limited capacity, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we were very grateful that we were able to open, and we had the parents, the kids were learning a lot. The parents were grateful. We had some first responders that did come in. Uh, I mean, it's hard when you see an empty room like this, and that's what's happening right now. The rooms are empty, and what we need to do is reopen our centers so that we can cater to educating our kids and the parents getting back to work and so forth. Those are the things that are essential. I don't know why child care centers are really considered non-essential. I know education is one of the greatest things that we need to revitalize and get it moving. Well, the Department of Education is having a tough time right now with individual virtual learning. We need kids in the classrooms is what's is required. Of course, we have to follow all the protocols necessary to protect everyone, the kids, the teachers, and parents, and the public, of course. Those are things that is important to us. We are trying to survive with whatever we have. We're very grateful that CARES Act money is on the island. Um, and those are things that are helping the island survive, I guess. But I know a lot of people are suffering at this point in time. Businesses are closing. We don't know what the future is going to entail for all of us, especially in the childcare industry.
Right.
And as Dewey said, we're not babysitters. We're educators. We educate the youngest minds in our community, and that's very important. I feel that the CARES Act that we're applying for will help us, but the truth of the matter is we need to open. We need to educate our kids. We need to start getting back to the new norm as it is.
How does it?
And I think that's very important, that the message. I like that new ad that Jason has sent out, that the young generation is sending out a strong message that let's do social distancing in a very safe manner. I feel that the new generation is coming forth, and they're sending out strong messages. I know there's a lot of businesses that are suffering and a lot are closing. I know it's sad that we see the streets at Tumon, for example, as very empty. My wife and I would go down to exercise at one of the beach sites just for that purpose, outdoor exercises. Financially, everyone is hurting. We are hurting. The CARES Act money that is on the island, which public health is trying to, I guess, give out to the childcare industry to help us survive, is a blessing at this point in time. Once they get it out, it's been already, I don't know how many months, 5 months since the money has been here, and we yet to receive it. But it's a long process, and I don't blame them for making sure that all the we dot our I's and cross our T's before we give out the funds to the childcare industry.
Right. Dewey, let's ask you as a, and then both you guys, I mean, these are family owned businesses here, right? What's it like when you see people going to work knowing that they need the childcare, but there's nothing you can do about it, sitting there in an empty
It's
childcare facility?
to me, it's very important that we open just for we actually all businesses open, people get back to work, and I feel sorry for parents that are having to look for someone to care for their children. Uh, the daycares are there; they're ready to open. We're very sanitized. We're ready. It's a matter of just us reopening and receiving our kids. There's still a lot of parents that are very afraid to get their kids back into any classroom setting and so forth, and we acknowledge that because it's the virus is really something that we are fighting for to in terms of survival.
Right.
What's important is that we have two pandemics on the island. One is the pandemic of our economy, and one is the viruses. This virus that's just hurting everyone, and those are the two pandemics that we have to worry about.
Dewey, your thoughts?
You know, I guess my thoughts is I really feel for the parents. Can you imagine how many parents are teachers? All the teachers, and I believe most teachers have children at home. And and if you've got younger ones that are crying for milk, or making a mess all over the house, pulling on the laptop power cord while your other kids are in class, it makes it very difficult. For me though, personally, my concern really is the children. The children are the ones suffering the most. Even though the parents are the ones complaining, it's the children suffering the most. They need a routine. They're not growing, they're not learning, they're not developing. A lot of parents have no choice but to put them in front of a tablet or the TV to keep them still so they can get the other things that they need to get done. And the research has shown that that's detrimental to their learning. Anytime we set a child in front of a screen, if it's detrimental, whether it's learning or not. For any child under 5 years of old, all doctors recommend you do not put them in front of a screen. And what's happening now is all of these children are being forced in front of the screen. The older ones are being forced in front of a screen all day to do their online learning. And we're going to see the results 10, 20, 30 years from now, when our future leaders are handicapped because of what we're doing to them,
What would
stifling that growth.
but what would be your response though, when you hear that the reason why these daycare, childcare facilities are closed is because you're high risk for exposure, high risk for infection, and
So,
henceforth you shall
right.
remain closed.
Right. So that's the case for everybody, right? I mean, we have to draw this line where it's what's reasonable, what's not. As far as us being high risk, here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand is we are one of the most regulated industries on the island. We have stricter regulations than restaurants. Our centers are I at least with my center, and I've a lot of other centers I've seen, are cleaner than most clinics and hospitals. We have a standard that public health holds us to, and that we have individually, and those standards, I mean, I would put them up against any clinic. And that's one of the things is we have been not, this is not something that's new. We're not new to child development. We've been in this industry for Joe has been in it for 20, 30 years, right, Joe?
Yes.
My parents opened this center 25 years ago. I grew up around child development and cleaning, sanitizing, disinfecting, teaching children. It's a life. And like the gym people are saying, they're doing the steps. We're doing everything we can. um, I'm not an expert, but I can tell you that we clean and we maintain we maintain rules and regulations, and we follow the strictest guidelines. You
Well,
know,
having said all that, then you're highly regulated. You're disinfecting on the daily. You're cleaning every second of the day. So
right.
what? Why haven't have you guys talked to public health? Have you stressed that? You know, and asked why are we still shut down?
Um, you know, for us, we don't know. We don't know what to do. We're kind of out of options. You're our best outlet. You guys allowing us to come on and voice our opinions here. You know, we're on lockdown, so us short of, you know, going to the meetings. We were blessed before. We had the opportunity to go before the meetings and talk to the physicians council. They heard our plea, and they said that they were going to recommend to the governor that we could open.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and another thing too is, like everybody else in the community, we're assuming that we're opening this Friday. We were assuming that we would be allowed to open on Monday, this whole week. That's what we've been assuming, right? We're under the assumption that there's only a 1 week lockdown, and that next week we'll be allowed to open. So right now we're preparing for that, making sure, you know, even though our centers are closed, there's a lot of administrative work that has to be done, a lot of cleaning that has to continue and be maintained. So we're still forced with the daily operations as directors, and as owners, and so we're still trying to figure out what we're gonna do next.
Yeah.
I think what we want really is a long-term plan, because it's very difficult for us to say, oh, we're gonna go to the governor and complain, when we thought that we were gonna be open next week Monday, you know, or we thought we were gonna open 2 weeks ago when the first lockdown ended. So the extensions are, you know, are something that we feel, well, if we're gonna go and complain, what about all the other people? You know,
Right.
every other business is in the same boat, right? So, but that's a very good question. Why haven't we gone before? I can't answer that for anyone else. You know, Joe and I are here representing ourselves, our own centers, but I can tell you we're overwhelmed right now. You know, one of our main leaders, Lonnie, you guys are all familiar with her. She's got 3 kids at home. One's a toddler, you know, and so she's got that on a daily. You know, we have some other people that were asked to be on the show. You know, they have full-time jobs, and they own the center. So I can't speak for anybody, but you know, I know for me personally, we're stressed out about the situation, and we don't know who to go to, and so that's why we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to express these frustrations here.
Joe.
And hopefully the governor will hear us, and public health, you know, will let us open.
Yeah.
At
Joe.
least-
I would like to add to Dewey's comments. The biggest problem is we don't have a seat at the table and the years of the government. I know that Dewey mentioned Lonnie. Lonnie has gone to the women's chamber. Before, what we did was scream, yell, wrote letters to get us open. And I think the government is now on deaf ears at this point in time with any business asking for reopening. And, you know, people are losing hope already. That's the biggest issue. For our centers on the island, our hope is the kids. we're hoping that the government listens to the people, the businesses, the voice of the people, and we need to open, yes, with a lot of caution, but we need to get back to the normal things that we do every day. It's important that we get back to the normal routine that we've been doing. Our voice to the government is we don't have a seat at the table. I think that's the biggest issue we have.
Right.
You can cry all you want, but if the governor does not want, it feels that we are not ready to open, then it's her decision. She is the individual that make things happen.
Well, all right, gentlemen. I thank you for coming on, and we'll probably get you guys back on periodically just to check in with you guys. So thank you for sharing your stories, and we've got to move on with the show, Dewey. But if you just wanted to make a brief final comment, and we'll let you guys go.
So I guess to conclude, I want everybody to know that screen time is not the solution for your children. Get them outside, get them active, let them do other things. Teach them real life lessons. Teach them how to do dishes, things like that. Learning. Every moment is a teaching moment. And if we can take advantage of this lockdown, 1-to-1, with your child is the opportunity. This is your opportunity to make the difference in their life. And since we as centers can't be there to educate them, it's up to you guys. And every day that passes by, that child is missing out.
Yeah.
So please, parents, take the initiative. It's hard work, but it's gonna pay off.
Right. It's hard
Thank
work,
you.
especially if your parents are working.
Exactly. It's just near impossible.
Yeah.
I'm away from my 6 kids right now.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, guys. Stay safe.
Thank you, Joe.
Stay safe. Thanks, Joe.
Stay
Okay,
safe.
let's wash your hands. Guys, we're going to close out the show here with some help from our friends at Bantai. As we have this new segment, Bree.
Yeah, curbside to crib. And so we're just kind of featuring different businesses. And it doesn't just have to be food, but we're so thankful that Jen reached out. And so, yeah, it's curbside to crib, just featuring different businesses that do curbside.